Zayd Malik, Outlaw RBG, Salute worldwide. Tune in to the truth about Tupac, man. Let's tell the truth about the homie Pac, man. Pac is a revolutionary. First RBG. Free line.
Hey, what up, Truth About Tupac Movement? It's your boy, Asher Underwood, in my home state, Texas, at the Pan-African Connection bookstore in South Dallas with the one and only Outlaw RBG, the King Zayd Malik.
Salute.
Salute.
Yeah, man. It's good to be here, man. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about, the father of the Thug Life movement, you know what I mean?
The father of the Thug Life movement.
Outlaw movement.
Yep.
And really the RBG movement, definitely a big player in what, I mean, it's from the horse's mouth himself. I was talking to my brother Stickman, shout out Dead Press, Stickman, RBG Fit Club. But he was saying the whole concept of revolutionary but gangster really came from Tupac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say on the new album, you say,
we live by the code that Pac put in place way before they could take them. Mutulu co-authored the code like we on the streets, we could change them.
I mean, definitely, you know what I'm saying? Pac gave us that code. As far as somewhere, for the streets, a direction that the streets could go in where we could still remain revolutionary but still use the gifts and jewels that our folks are learning from having to be in the streets, the street culture, thug culture. And so, it's just another way that, as far as my people is concerned, how we came in the game as far as slavery and our whole history in America, another way that we capitalize and are able to triumph over our pain as a people and just as individuals. You know what I'm saying? We saw Pac do it, and we just see our people doing that as a whole. So
right.
Yeah.
Right, I've been, you say you only haven't listened to nobody since Makaveli, really. It's hard for you to listen to.
It is, man, it's like, I equate it to like,
Hey, James, how you doing?
your first time smoking weed or shit, your first piece of pussy. It's like Sade say, it's never as good as the first time. And Pac, and you can see the imprint of the game today. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to recreate that Tupac high to this day. Somewhat 20 years later. He passed in '96, but to this day, his imprint on the game is like before Tupac and after Tupac. You know what I mean?
So let's go before Tupac and let's give the Truth About Tupac fans out there, those that are maybe not yet familiar with your movement and your music, a little history about you, because I really like your music because you really narrate. If you listen to gangster rap, you hear banging, you hear stories of banging. If I listen to your music, I hear BLA stories. I hear so you're Mutulu's godson.
Yeah, super influence on my life. From when I was young to this day, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be rapping if it wasn't for him, you know what I mean? Real talk. And I thank him for giving me the opportunity, or when he was locked up, he needed somebody from when he was locked up to kind of do a project that we had called Dare to Struggle. And he needed eyes and ears on the streets to kind of, put it together. And so he was like, yo, can you do it? And I was like, oh my God. At the time I had like 2 whole raps, you know what I'm saying, ever. And so I was like, I don't know, I think I can, but I'll try. And the rest is history.
How old were you when that happened?
I was about 15.
15, wow.
When Dare to Struggle, we put Dare to Struggle together when we started putting it together. It took about a year, you can imagine the communication lapses, trying to get shit right from somebody being in jail, sometimes being on lockdown, sometimes not being able to, have enough minutes on your phone call time, all that kind of shit. So, I think we put it out finally when I was about 17, but yeah, we started on when I was 15.
Man, that's awesome. So, for Truth About Tupac fans out there, people that are coming onto this video that maybe is not as familiar with the struggle and the revolutionary history. A lot of people know about the Black Panthers, know a little about the Panther history, whether they have the right information or wrong information, but fewer people know about the BLA, and even what the BLA is. We're talking about the BLA. They may not know. So how could you best contextualize and explain that for those?
I mean, I look at the BLA as just a mixture of movements. First of all, BLA stands for Black Liberation Army. And so it was just a recognition on folks' behalf. Like, you have to understand, we was, coming out of the age of the Nation of Islam and everything that happened to Malcolm X and, you know, the Black Panther Party and the war with the Black Panther, like a literal war between, you know, police departments across the country and the FBI and the Black Panther Party. So we was coming out of all of that. And you also got to keep in mind that, you know, all these different movements that are being created or were created and are still being created, you got the same players just kind of switching movement. So the movement never changed as far as the people, but just the name might change, right, so to speak. So the Black Liberation Army was a recognition that we needed some kind of armed defense mechanism, you know, people that are willing to defend the idea of black liberation, right? Because we understand that, you know, if you even say that you believe in the fact that blacks need to be liberated from what, you know what I mean? Like, people, first of all, they don't even believe, some people don't believe that, you know, the concept of black liberation is real. It's like, you know, you're in America, you free, what are you talking about? But then, you know, you see what's going on as far as, you know, police brutality and the disparagement of housing in our community and the lack of good education in our community. So you realize at that point that you do need some kind of liberation as far as self-determination is concerned, to be able to determine for ourselves as black people what we need for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Not what white folks told us that we need, but what we say we need. You know what I mean? And so
that's the essence of self-determination, for the community to be able to decide for itself.
Come on, man. And so that was the thinking that went into the creation of the Black Liberation Army. And like I said, it was after the Black Panther Party. It was after Malcolm X, you know, and everything that we learned from it. It was after all of that, and a mechanism to protect, you know, our ideals and what we felt like we needed.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of from my understanding, like, the BLA also had the mentality of, we need an offensive as well, to be able to take it to the front line, sort of thing, that the BLA was really on top of.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's definitely what they were on top of, and that's what it was all about. I mean, well, one of the things they was all, but they, you know, I mean, when you speak on Mutulu Shakur, he's one of the first people, if not the first person, that was able to heal a heroin addict. You know what I mean? So we talking about different, you know, wars on different fronts. Even, you know, as far as the drug war is concerned, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, a lot of our people are victims of. But like I said, you know, those are the kind of things that they were dealing with.
And you were talking about the names changing, but there's also a tradition of taking on names of the revolutionaries, which is that where you took the name Zayd Malik from? Zayd.
Yeah, well, my name is Zayd, you know what I mean? So I was born Zayd, and I was named after Zayd Malik Shakur.
That was on the New Jersey Turnpike.
With Asada Shakur. Right. And so that's the name that my parents gave me. Yeah, man, I just actually had a conversation with Sekou Odinga, who was just released from prison. Right. After, 30-something years?
It might have been 20-something, but
yeah, I think 33 years would be, as a matter of fact. And he knew Zayd personally, so I was just asking him stuff about his character. You know what I'm saying? It was just real interesting to hear about who he was as a person, you know what I mean? Because he knew him personally. He said he was one of his best friends, and he was, you know, he said he made clothes, and, you know, he was one of the smartest brothers he knew. He led the political education classes, and he said he was he had a brother named Lumumba Shakur. Right. You know what I mean? And so his brother, they said, was like the butterfly, but he was like the mosquito, you know what I mean? As far as, you know, metaphorically speaking. Nice. So, yeah, that's what I was named for, though. Powerful revolutionary. So, yeah,
that's deep. In your song "Born in This," you make a reference to the police putting a shotgun to your mom's when you was young, and you said they thought she was in a Honda.
See, I was born in this, I wasn't sworn in this. The people sworn in this, then pay homage to this. They held a double barrel shotty to my mama for this. The feds thought she was in a Honda and shit.
Yeah, cause my mother, if you ever, you know,
for those that don't know,
Nahanda Abiodun, who's you know, one of my aunties out there in Cuba, but Nahanda Abiodun and my mother, they kind of favored. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, you know, all the sisters, the sisters was liberating themselves from, you know, the prototypical, you know, what society is like. This is what a woman should look like with long hair. So they was all cutting their hair short. You know what I'm saying? You know, you still see some sisters with their short haircuts to this day, but at that time, that's what was up. And my mom and Nahanda, they was both tall women. My mom is about 6 feet tall. Nahanda's somewhere around the same height. You know what I mean?
That's great.
And so, yeah, they ran down on him, put a shotgun to him, thinking that, you know, and this was after the liberation of Assata Shakur.
Wow.
And
So it was
they thought it was her.
after she'd already been liberated.
Yeah, and they was thinking, you know, they Nahanda is charged also with that liberation as well.
Right.
And so they was looking for her too.
And she went to Cuba.
She's in Cuba right now. Yeah. She got exiled from the Cuban government along with Assata. That's just one of the, like a lot of people don't know Nahanda like they know Assata, but she's definitely, you know, on the level of an Assata. Like people should know Nahanda.
Hey, check my resume, I used to do this every day. Fighting in the courthouse with the popo, I was only 8.
So you also, in one of your songs, you also talk about fighting in the courtroom when you was like 8 years old.
Man, when I was 8 years old, my one of my OGs in California, his name is HNGC, and you know, he's a straight soldier. You know what I mean? And he's one that, you know, he'll get it popping with the police no matter what. So we was in the courthouse. And you know, I was in there. You know, I was about 8 years old. I might have been younger than that. Might have been 7 or something. But anyway, I was in there with you know, other members of the New African People's Organization, and he came up for trial. And I think I can't remember all the details, but it was something to the effect of they wanted to let him go. They wanted letting him go that day. He's in court and he was gonna have to go do some time or whatnot. But yeah, and so, you know, the folks that I was with, that was members of that organization, they started protesting in the middle of the court sessions, like on some, you know, free MGenzi, and just start getting real rowdy. So they tried to, you know, pull us all out the courthouse. And you know, me as a little 8, I was a small little dude too, small 8-year-old. Yeah, I got caught in that tussle. You know what I mean? So they, you know, they out there handcuffed for this in the lobby of the courthouse. So we, you know, literally going at it with the police right outside the courtroom, you know what I mean, based on, you know, them protesting and saying, fuck this courthouse, we still finna ride and still finna make sure. See, a lot of a big part of revolutionary action is, you know, is consciousness and making your oppressor conscious of the fact that you know that you're being oppressed. And so wherever you are, especially in the courthouse, it's like I'm in the courthouse, I'm in, you know, the arena of modern day slavery. This is where, you know, I get convicted and judged based on, you know, in a lot of our cases, the crime of being black. You know what I mean? So you turn up even more when you know, especially if you're conscious of your history. Like some folks, they, you know, they feel like, oh yeah, I did the crime, I need to do the time, I'm in here, let me just chill and take my punishment. But if you conscious, you know what I mean, and you know these things, it's like I'm gonna turn up even more. Like to this day, every time I go in the courthouse, it's like my heart start pumping because I don't know if I'm gonna pull a what's the dude's name that shot the judge?
Jonathan George J.
Nah, I'm talking about the other.
Larry Davis.
Nah, not Larry Davis.
You talking about Eric?
Brian Nichols. I be feeling like, yo,
So many.
get me out of here.
So many.
Because it's like your consciousness juxtaposed with the fact that you know where you at,
Right.
make you want to turn. So that was the whole feeling I remember of the courthouse that day. And yeah, I'm 8 years old, and we, you know, police is grabbing at me, and you know, I'm 8 years old. Why they grabbing at me? You know what I'm saying? But they fighting against, you know, my father and other comrades, and I can't remember if my mother was there or not, but yeah, me and my sisters, we have different mothers of the same father. She was there, and they was fighting with her, and just, you know, all the elders. So yeah, we got into it.
That's what you mean when you say born into this.
Oh yeah.
You didn't just.
I remember, you know, them coming to the door when I was a kid, you know, knocking on the door, and one of the things I had to be taught, well, you know, my generation, people that came up like me had to be taught was, you know, at an early age, we don't talk to the police, you know what I'm saying? And so that was definitely a conversation that was rampant in my household.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they just might, you know, Pops told me stories. I remember stories of, you know, them breaking into his car, stealing his briefcase, documents. You know, they would come to the door, knock on the door, want to talk and ask questions, you know what I mean?
I like when you said something about, you're just a fan of Makaveli, but that's quite okay.
Introduction to my movement, RBG, that's me, okay? Outlaw and I'm so official, you can ask my brother K. Man, you just a fan of Makaveli, and that's quite okay. Thug life continuation, Outlaw RBG, okay?
You know, obviously we know with Pac's influence. There's people that love Pac. There's people that think they think they the hardest Pac riders on the planet,
right,
and they know
yeah.
nothing about this history or the truth about Tupac, as we say, you know. So
yeah, I was at odds with a member of my crew at that time. You know what I mean? So that's really what that was dedicated to. But you know, you could say one thing to a certain situation that relates to a lot.
Sure.
So yeah, that, you know, that's quite all right. I didn't want to make people feel like, you know, in that particular song that you just a fan and that's a bad thing.
Right.
I wanted the dude that I was talking to about in that song to realize, like, look, bro, you not, you know what I mean? Like he felt like
you're just a fan of Makaveli.
something else. He felt like something else. You know what I mean? This particular situation. And so like, you know, it's cool, but remember that you know what I'm saying, you ain't who you portray yourself to be or who you think you are. So yeah.
And you said let somebody try to test your credentials. You got the resume.
Oh man, come on. I mean, you know, I ain't never been one. I'm always been a humble cat, but it's like if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you. So
right.
You know what I mean? If you want to check my resume, please.
Check the resume. You didn't check the music though. ZaydMalik.bandcamp.com. Check the links in the description because I really like what you got on your Bandcamp. Like you have like some really cool options in the age where there's so much bootleg music, you know, download people's music and just stream it. Like you actually can go to the Bandcamp and listen to the music.
Right.
But then if you want to support you can support, and you got some cool options, you know, some like gift bags or some package deals and the whole discography and all that.
Right.
But what's your future music plans and what's next? Like, and this new album that just dropped is like more of a mixtape album,
yeah,
right?
It's
so like
it's a mixtape. And it was something that, you know, like a lot of my fans, they wanted me to do, like as far as, you know, like my fans, they real what's the word? I don't know, for lack of a better word, genre-ish. They want to hear they want to hear music about revolutionary culture a lot, you know what I'm saying? But they want it to be street, you know what I'm saying? So they don't like certain other kind of music that's just street, but then they don't like certain music that's, you know, quote unquote conscious, and it ain't dope for real, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, fans always ask me to, you know, they was like, you know, take over so-and-so beat, and they'll ask me to get on this beat, you know, and I never really wanted to do that. I wanted to always create my own lane, but, you know, this was a project that I kind of succumbed to that and was like, all right, I'll get on some other folks' tracks and do it that way, and, you know, that's what it was.
I think it was a good move.
All right, good luck.
Around and I'ma catch a body.
What the fuck is trying? I'll do it. Confront me with that nonsense, I'll lose it. If it's war, then it's on the language I speak fluent. Crush my enemies totally, Sun Tzu. I'm not the one to be tried, just like crack. Overboard, overkill, that's how I get back. Don't let the smooth taste fool you, I can get you fucked up. Thug passionate, Hennessy up in my cup when I